Today's video, we are going to make a 1/80th ounce Euro jig. This jig is a 1/80th ounce, basically marabou jig. It's very similar to a crappie jig. It's just a smaller version. So this method will be the same as tying a crappie jig. This is something I use a lot of under a strike indicator, and I, just set it at a set depth and let it kind of drag the bottom of the water. Very easy to tie. I'm going to show you guys the powder coating from the start to finish, and be a pretty fast thing. First thing you do is you take your candle, get you a little bit of a fire going, and then I'm going to always take hemostats. And when I do my powder coating, something that I learned is to take and put your hemostats on the eye of the hook. So you can see the eye of the hook is covered by the hemostats. So then literally all we're going to do is we're going to stick that into the flame and go 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't want that thing in there too hot, too long. If you do, it'll end up melting the lead off. So that's all there is to it. This is a copper color, which the camera does not give it justice. It's got a lot of iridescent color to it, so I really like the copper color. You can powder coat in any color. This is the brand that I use. You can even get cheap black and white powder coating at Harbor Freight in great big jugs for very, very little money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stuff over. I'm going to set my vise up and show you guys how to tie this bad boy. So now that we have our vise here, we can lower the camera down just a little bit. I'm going to take my jig hook and put it in the vise. Get that thing nice and close for you guys. Okay, so now that I have that in there, nice and close, first thing I'm going to do is I always take a brush-on type super glue, and I put just a little bit on the shaft of the hook. I do this on almost any fly that I tie. I do a lot of commercial tying, and I want my stuff to be strong. So I put that on there, and basically that's going to keep my thread from falling off or having any kind of issues. So now that I have that in, I just build a little bit of a thread base. And when I get my thread base built up, I'm going to cut my tag end off. I've got a little piece of marabou. This one I'm making like an olive green type color. And I'm going to take that tail, and I don't want my tail much longer than the fly. So I'm going to take my tail, and you can see how much I got, just a little bit of a piece. And once I get that cut, I'm going to lay that down on top of the shank. I'm going to do a couple loose wraps and tighten it down. And then I'm going to bring my thread about to the point of my hook. I'm going to tie that and wrap that back to the front. Try to keep it as consistent as I can. Now I've got some micro chenille here that's like a green cactusy color, and I really like this stuff. It's got a lot of very, very similar to peacock curl. I use a lot of peacock curl for stuff, and it's actually my favorite material. It's got so much natural color to it, but as you can see, this is very similar in color. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to tie that chenille. I'm going to take it back to that marabou. I'm going to bring my thread forward. Then I am going to wrap that forward. And I want to keep that as tight as I can up against each other. Bring that thread all the way up, or that chenille all the way up. Lock it in with my thread. Cut my chenille out of the way. I always probably overdo my whip finishes, but like I say, I tie for a lot of people, and I don't want my stuff to ever come apart. So one whip finish, two whip finish, cut it off. Couple drops of head cement, and that is it, guys. That is all there is to this fly. So this is something you can tie in any color. You can make smaller. This is a 1/80th ounce. You can use any color of marabou, any color of chenille, any color of head, and you can mix and match it up. And these things are phenomenal underneath a strike indicator or Euro fishing. And in the spring, when it starts to become regular crappie season, you can take these things and crappie fish with them as well and make them a little bit bigger for crappie fishing. So hope this helps. Really simple for you guys who are starting out. This is one of the easiest flies there is to tie, and the versatility is amazing. So hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.